Preeya, I love this pear cake. It's a really simple recipe and really, really tasty. Now, the first thing you got to make is a caramel. So I've got some brown sugar in there and some butter goes in there as well. And why not, while we're here, a pinch of cinnamon to make it even more delicious. You can see I've got a lovely stove here and it's starting to caramelise beautifully already. While this is going, and I'm going to do something else to it, I've got a small bowl with a small amount of sugar in there. I want you to microplane some ginger in there and some orange zest, and then cut the orange in half because I'll use the juice from the orange. I'm going to put the other ingredients in here, and I've got some eggs, so I'll grab an egg and crack them in here nice and slowly.
There's a lot of sugar, I'll be honest, Richard. I'm looking at this and I'm going, there's sugar in there, there's sugar here, it's a lot of sugar.
Well, it's sugar that gives you energy to be able to get through the day, and you can see this is caramelising up beautifully.
Yes.
Give that a bit of a stir around like this and melt that butter. This is a really hot stove and you can turn the temperature down or up as much as you need it. So I've turned that down to a number 4, so that's going to simmer away beautifully. Now, the eggs are in there, the ginger's going in there, the orange is going in there as well, and I'm going to use some oil because I've been listening to you. Richo, you use too much butter, you need to cut it out. So I've got some olive oil going in here as well. This is a light olive oil, so it's really tasty, really good for you and flavoursome, and I'm cutting back on my butter, which is what you want.
Okay.
In goes some milk as well, and to give it some extra lift, some bicarb, in that goes as well.
Lovely.
And I'm using, well, you like to challenge me on these things, 2 types of pear. I've got this pear here, which is a poached pear. It's been poached in red wine and sugar and cinnamon and clove and allspice. So you can imagine it's a really, really tasty pear. And with this, I'm just going to cut it up into little pieces like this and throw it into the mixture like that. In it goes. Now, I reckon that's about enough orange there. So if you hand me that orange, I'll show you what I'm going to do with that.
Beautiful, that's yours.
In it goes. Add that flour, self-raising flour, nice and light and fluffy, into there. And there's a spatula next to you. I want you to mix that around until we get a really nice, thick cake batter.
Okay. There's a lot of things in here that you could potentially use natural sweetness, so the pear's giving you some natural sweetness.
You could, but it wouldn't taste as good.
Okay.
All right, this is the caramel here. See, that's nice and dark there? Now, I throw the pear straight in the bottom. And when you do this, I want you to be really, really careful. Probably something you want the grown-ups to do. This is not a kiddie job. Caramel is really hot and really dangerous, so we really need to make sure that you're careful with it. Hear that sizzle? That's a giveaway that there's a lot of heat going on in here. Now, I'm just stirring the pears into the caramel so that just soften just a little bit and soak up some of that flavour as well.
Yes.
And at this stage, I use the oranges that we zest, because a lot of people say you zest the lemon, the lime and the orange, but you never use it. There we go.
We do use it. There's no wastage here.
Exactly. That little bit of citrus flavour there. And you've done a great job. Now, just go around the sides there and pick up all those little bits and pieces around the side there.
Yes.
This is going to be a great cake. I'm just loving the caramelised flavour, the pears. They go so well together. Now,
They do.
I've got this cake tin here, and you're probably thinking, is this a dodgy one? Because it's got a hole in the middle. It's not. It's actually called a Kugelhof tin, which is an Austrian type of cake. And I love it because it's got the centre thing here, which means it cooks all around the outside and it cooks nice and evenly. Perfect for a dense type of cake that this is. So I'll stir this around. You can see that orange juice is bubbling with those pears. And what I've done with the Kugelhof tin is I've brushed it with a little bit of butter and then dusted a little bit of flour around it. And that's a good way of stopping it from sticking. Now, at this stage here, I grab the pears and I pop them down the bottom here. And look, you can arrange them really delicately or you can just pop them in the bottom here. I think it makes no difference. For me, as long as there's pears on the bottom and a little bit of that caramel sauce, it will look delicious.
I've actually seen these tins, Richo, and I've never realised that the whole is to have it with a dense cake evenly cooked through.
Exactly. You can cook just about any cake batter that you buy or make, you can pop in one of these cake tins, and it's just nice for something different. Often I'll make a nice light sponge in one of these cake tins and then turn it out and pop a whole lot of berries and cream in the centre of it, so it's like a little treasure trove in the middle of it. Now, I'll pop that in there. Now, I've got some batter there for us. That is fantastic. That is delicious. And with the last bit of caramel, I just put some of it around the top here like this. And this will soak down and go all the way through that cake and make it even more delicious. I've got another little trick up my sleeve, Preeya. I'm using a special oven with a pastry plus setting, which means you get some heat from the bottom and allows the cake to cook nice and evenly and remain nice and moist. It's quite a plush oven and you will love it. Into the oven, 210, about 35 to 40 minutes.
Wonderful.
once the cake has come out of the oven, it's a good idea just to let it cool down a little bit for about 15 minutes. You got to remember it's come out of a hot oven, lots of caramel, you don't want to burn yourself. And you probably don't want to do this unless you've got your wits about you, you know? So I've got a big plate, turn it upside down like that, and hopefully, if you count to 3, 1, 2, 3, give it a tap like that.
Abracadabra.
Exactly. It should be able to come straight off nice and gently.
Wow.
Oh.
That is beautiful.
Have a look at that. The caramelised pear all around it, that caramel sauce is glistening. You don't need to do much to it.
Yes.
Just dust it with a bit of icing sugar and I reckon you've got a cracker of a cake ready to serve to anyone. Me, I like to serve it nice and warm and I like to serve with ice cream or cream, but to me, I could just sit here looking at it.
Well, let's just do that.
Inhale that pear and caramel aroma.